Kirsty Campbell.
I'm Danny Geddes.
I'm Lindy Wilson.
This is our evaluation.
To break love to side.
Well, we decided to do a sort of different strategy when it comes to looking at our audience feedback by making our own trailers before we submitted a final trailer. Now this was purposefully done so that we posted them on YouTube, on our blog and shown them to our class. We posted them on YouTube and our blog and shown them to the class. To get different opinions on how we were going to approach our final trailer. So we all had our own ideas, so this was in the stage of when we were filming, and we all put our own ideas into action during our shots and then edited them on our own. So on YouTube you will see Kirsty's submission, Lindy's submission and my submission, and then our collective idea together, which we got from talking to other people and from the comments that were posted onto YouTube and onto the blog. Also, we started with Twitter. We started with Twitter a long time ago, back before the summer. It was June, really long time ago, and we just set one up just to sort of keep a sort of buzz going about the project, which we did, and I think we've got over 500 followers on it now. And that was really good use of audience feedback, because every time we posted a poster, a picture, even if it was a behind the scenes shot of us like with a camera, they get so interested and say, oh, what did you shoot today, and like oh, I wonder what happens and who's that girl, and it always asks questions, and that's what we wanted. We wanted people to ask questions and sort of want to know more. That's the whole point about doing the project, was giving the audience that factor of we need to know more. And Twitter was a success because the comments that you get from Twitter and replies and direct messages, but also the retweets are really good because they send it round to everyone who's following everyone else. So they all get to share a bit of how our journey was going, and we've updated it from the beginning that we started to now. So now everyone can see our progress, from trailers to posters to magazines to shots to filming to even just general discussion about how excited we were about taking a camera and going to shoot it.
What was also really good about the fact that we all did our own sort of trailers before we put all our ideas together is that we all used sort of similar footage from when we did our filming, so that way people who we were asking for feedback from and people like on our Twitter and things like that were able to see the footage used in different ways and sort of say, you know, it worked, this footage works in this trailer better, or it looks good with this sort of background or this effect. So then from what the audience said, when we came to do our final trailer, we could use the same footage and use it in the best way possible from what audience feedback had like given us.
It also makes them so they're like not confused about it, because if we went out and shot different sort of people, like okay, so we use Chloe for one shot and we use you for another shot, people are like, is this the same thing? Or not just one? Yeah, exactly, a different location. So we have to be so careful with our footage and the way that we edited it. But I feel that we all sort of we had the same sort of target. Do you know what I mean? We all went the same way, and like just edited it differently, and I think they all really worked personally, and I think it really worked for our audience feedback, because the final trailer has a bit of yours, a bit of mine, and a bit of your, you know, a bit of idea, and they can see that, and there's proof.
So the themes kind of like continued throughout everyone's trailer, and it's kind of linked together, so we all put like our ideas into one. Also we used Facebook quite a lot to show off quite a lot of our artwork, like from our posters, or like just like general kind of images and that lot, and like added effects to different images, and we got feedback from people on Facebook, and being like the biggest social networking site, we thought it'd be quite a big audience that we could hit if we did it on Facebook as well as on Twitter and YouTube.
Like social network is really important as well with our audience feedback. With things like Facebook and Twitter, we were able to update everything we were doing with our Learn and Brains project, and then audience could give us their own ideas, tell us what they liked, what they didn't like, and so then as we were going along from audience feedback, we were able to improve the things we were doing.
And it was really good that we went from the stage that we did, because we did it at such an early part of the project that we can now go back and look at the journey and look at the progress that we made. But also I think what was interesting was power of interaction that we had, because a lot of films lack that with the audience, and one of the films that we studied in our pre-production stage was Silent Hill, and they did a competition with fans and their target audience where they got to make their own posters, and the winning one would be used as the main poster of the film. And I think that's really important to have elements like that to a film project that will make it successful. So with us, we did it with social networking. We focused on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, relied on comments, on voting, and on likes that you can do now on Facebook and on YouTube, and basically get a feedback, but a more global feedback rather than just one intentional audience.
And then back to our blog, which therefore kind of like crossovered with all our like.
If you think about it, like, if we didn't have our social networking, then it wouldn't have been as successful as it would.
It wouldn't be as popular.
Yeah,
or
because
well-known.
like what audience would we be aiming at really? We'd be only aiming at like our class, and that's only like one generation really of people. And like we were saying, internet is so important now. Media is such a thing that everyone relies on, that going the social networking route was probably one of the best ideas that we've come up with. It's probably what makes our feedback stage so successful.
And because like the social networking sites like Twitter and Facebook are used primarily by our target audience, the age range, it was good for us to be able to do this because it was aimed directly at the audience we were targeting for lower than votes.
Also, our generation now uses the internet a lot more because a lot more people have access to the internet, and therefore they can see all this like production stuff that like now Media Today is doing, as well as our trailer and our posters and our project all together. More people can see it and more people can access it.